What is up, everybody? So today we are going to be doing a 1,000 mile review on the Hawk 250. This is the non-EFI version, so this is the regular Hawk. And we hit 1,000 miles for the second time. This is the second dash that's hit 1,000 miles for me, but for the sake of simplicity, I'll just say it's a 1,000 mile review. So what do I like? What I don't like? What are some of the things that I ran into? Would I recommend this bike to somebody? I think I've already mentioned that before, but we're gonna go into some details, break it down into some categories, and hopefully you guys find this a little bit useful. So we're gonna break it down into a couple categories. The first one is gonna be price, which I think that's a given. Second is performance, and then performance will be split into two categories because this is a dual sport, on-road and off-road performance. Then we're gonna talk about maintenance, also reliability, and then ease of use. So a couple different categories. We'll do a score of 1 through 10. We'll average it out and it'll give us a percentage, see where this thing ranks. First off, price, that's pretty given. I mean, that's, if any bike was eligible for a perfect score on the price tag, it's definitely the Hawk. I mean, you can't beat like $1,300 in some places, but the average I think is like $1,500 for a brand new dual sport. But yeah, price definitely 10 out of 10. You can't beat the price. It's a really good, affordable little machine. Yeah, and I mean, $1,500. What else can you buy with 0 miles in 2020 for $1,500? Anyway, that's also street legal though. Yeah, so. Alright, so the next category would be performance. Now for the off-road performance, you know, it does the job, especially with the gearing that it comes with, you know, 15 tooth up front and a 50 in the rear. It's a very torquey setup with that gearing, and the motor is capable of giving you that torque. So off-road, it's pretty good. I mean, you're not going to be, the suspension's kind of limiting you. It definitely bottoms out the rear a lot, even on light stuff. Like, I don't take it jumping or anything. And the front, it does alright, but again, it's still, you got very small travel. It's tough, but you know, it's limiting by the suspension. The tires that it comes with are really good off-road. I'd say they're better off-road than they are on-road. So overall, I'd say the off-road performance of this bike, I'd give it about a 7, because it's not perfect off-road, but it does the trick, and you don't have to worry about breaking things, which is awesome. And, you know, when you're off-roading, you're always scared about breaking your bike because you don't want to ruin, you know, a fancy expensive bike and have to go to the shop and replace a whole bunch of stuff and just rack up a whole bunch of debt. With this bike, you break something, who cares? And if you really want to replace it, it's cheap. On-road performance, out of the box, I'm gonna have to say this doesn't do very good on road. You're gonna want to get a different gearing setup, so maybe a 17 tooth up front and maybe even a 45 in the rear or something along those lines. But you're gonna want something that'll get you up to speed a little nicer and let you cruise without revving the snot out of it and vibrating everything to ashes. But on-road performance, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give it From the stock form, you know, obviously you can turn this into a pretty nice on-road machine by changing the gearing and the tires, stuff like that, but I'm gonna have to give it a 3 out of the box because it does the trick, but it is not nice. It is not comfy, and it definitely doesn't like, you know, 45 to 50 miles an hour out of the box over a long period of time. The next category, which is reliability. Is it reliable? It can be. Out of the box, again, you're going to have a lot of issues. There's going to be a lot of things that are broken right out of the factory, so that has to be considered right out of the box. You know, right when you get the thing, put it together, start it up for the first time, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be something wrong unless you get a gem of a bike. So that has to be considered. And then over time, I haven't really had to do anything to it other than maintenance. I don't know how well it does if you don't maintain it, but you shouldn't be not maintaining your bike because it is a motorcycle two-wheel death machine. There's no reason to make it more deadly than it already is. Well, the only thing I've done is adjust the valves, you know, basic oil changes, change the spark plugs, clean the chain, stuff like that, and that's easy. You can do that, you know, with basic tools, and it's very easy to do. So the score for reliability, because it has so many issues right out of the box, that's going to take a hit on that. After we have it set up, it does do pretty good, it seems like. I haven't had to do much other than just basic maintenance. So I'm going to have to give that one about a 4 out of 10. Just because there's so much headache you have to get through just to get the bike running in tip-top shape. You know, the fact that it varies so much from bike to bike. You know, you could get a gem of a bike, but your neighbor could get a complete monster of a bike with this whole bunch of, like, problems and issues. So quality control's not there. It is what it is. That kind of leads us into maintenance. Maintenance is pretty dang easy on this, and it's cheap, which is awesome. It's a big selling point about this bike. Everything about this bike is cheap, but you can buy parts from a lot of different places, and you can replace anything that you need to. The plastics, you can replace engine parts because it is a CG design, Honda CG style engine, and there's a lot of aftermarket support, a lot of replacement parts available. So if something goes wrong on this bike, you can easily find parts and you can easily replace them. Everything's accessible, easy to maintain. So, you know, overall, I'd say maintenance is about, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Ease of use, that's a good one. So ease of use, a lot of people look into this bike as their first bike because it is cheap, because it's a manual transmission, and because people like dirt bikes and dual sports right now. That's like the biggest selling thing right now. Is it easy to use? Yes, it's a little bit tall, but if you're used to riding dirt bikes, that's not going to be an issue because dirt bikes are a lot of times even taller than this. I mean, if you're a new rider, you're going to love it because it's good to learn on. You know, if you burn out the clutch or destroy the engine, you're learning how to use it, you're not out a whole lot of money. I mean, if you're using your hard-earned money and you're only working a minimum wage job at like part-time, maybe that's a lot of money, but technically this is not a lot of money. Yeah, this is a great bike. You'll learn how to ride a motorcycle, you'll learn how to use a clutch, how to shift through gears, and then because it's a dual sport, you'll learn, you know, how to be a safe rider on the road, and then also you can come out here and have a little bit of fun off-road. Man, somebody littered. I'm gonna have to go pick that up too. That's just, why do people litter? Come on, man. It is a little bit taller. It has a clutch that's a little bit harder than, say, you know, an automatic, like a DCT or a CVT, like on a scooter or something. But other than that, it's still really good, and it's easy to use, easy to learn on. So I'm gonna have to give that one a solid, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 because it's a perfect beginner bike, in my opinion. You don't have, you know, it's the perfect one to just kind of learn how to ride a motorcycle. So yeah, it's pretty good what we got. Not 10 out of 10 on the price. So we have 10 out of 10. We have, holy, what did I score these at? I'm gonna have to like do a voiceover later on because I forgot what I scored them at. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, forgive me. Alright, so that's the 1,000-mile review. For me, I have nothing wrong with it. I have been enjoying it, but I have had a lot of people, I've seen people on Facebook, I've seen people on YouTube and reviews. They've had issues. It's a quality thing. Plus, you need to really, it comes down to maintenance too. if you take care of your things, they'll last long. It's just as simple as that. So, but for me, it's been a great bike. For you, I hope it's a great bike. And just, take care of it, and it'll take care of you. But thank you guys for watching. It'd be super dope if you subscribed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Look at those horses. Yeah.